Good morning. I'm starting a little early today because we have a lot of stuff going on. Oh my gosh, hold on. Oh my God. So let's go. We have the sponsor, Noble Gold. Here we go. And we will put it on the screen. Sponsor is Noble Gold. We have Jeremy Leggett coming on, and I've got to get the news out first. So get your IRA. Here we go. We have Noble Gold. Here we go. So you're making full. So are you making full use of your savings? Think of the times you've yearned for better returns after real inflation changes in Texas. Are you even making a profit with food, clothing, and rent all doubling over the last 10 years? You need to do something. Gambling on Robinhood stocks might lose you a lot, and I've lost a lot in the stocks now. Like thousands of others, you want to retire stress-free. A precious metals IRA, Noble Gold, could be the answer. And this month, Noble Gold is gifting a rare Carson City minted Morgan silver dollar with every qualifying IRA or 401k. These coins were around when the ounce of silver in 1893 is in mint condition. And is worth more than 3,250, a staggering increase of 325,000%, a return of 2,500% a year. This is long-term precious metals investing. Get in touch with experts in Noble Gold and talk to your options today. The telephone number is 649. Here we go. It's at the bottom. 877-646-5347 or 877-646-5347. And here I am. Let me take this off. And here is the Morgan dollar. Here we go. Carson City. So you can take a look. All right. So yes, again, for those special people like Jan, please don't bring stuff from other accounts here, Jan W. Please don't. I don't need to respond to other people's videos. That's not my video, okay? Ask them, don't ask me, okay? I don't know who they are, all right? Okay. All right, here we have a few pieces of news. First, let me do this. Here we go. Okay. MSNBC is dropping. It's dropped down about 49% viewership. Yes. Obama allowed Google to form illegal monopoly 212 to help him with his election. We have Biden struggling to breathe from mask in Ohio. He was sucking air like through the mask, like he didn't have enough air. Southern border, and they're trying to divert it and from the southern border, which we'll cover that in a second. Okay, here we go. We have this going on. H&M, Nike's gone down. Other clothing brands boycott in China are over Xinjiang junctions. Xing, which is new, means new. China ruling Communist Party lashing out at H&M and other clothing footwear brands as it retaliates to Western sanctions of Chinese officials accused of human rights abuses in the Xinjiang region. Here we go, and they're believing that it's forced labor and child labor. H&M is on its social media. H&M 1.4% statement was stop buying cotton from Xinjiang in China Northwest. We have Nike down 1.55%, Adidas down 0.84%, and Burberry down 1.87%. I think it was higher before. Celebrities, including Wang Huibao, a popular singer and actor, announced they're breaking endorsement contracts with H&M and Nike. Well, They're getting taken down by their own people. All right, here we have Nancy Pelosi. Here we go. She says she gets to pick all the House delegates. Nancy Pelosi defends push to overturn Iowa House race. GOP won. Well, it was only by 6 votes, so I can just overturn it. No, I'm sure there was something else involved. Iowa freshman GOP Representative Marinette Miller Meeks won a close contest. Yes, and her failed Democrat opponent, Rita Hart, however, bypassed state avenues for appeal and triggered a congressional mechanism to contest the results of directly in the U.S. House controlled by her own party. Okay. All right. Okay, this is very interesting. I think you should watch it. This is what happened in Israel. And when the parents of a child were asked to leave the airplane, look at what all the people did. Here we go.
Take your belongings and get out! Get out! Take your belongings and get out! Don't see. Stand up for other people. I'm going to stand up for you. I'm going to say to continue, I'm not going to take your character. Stand up. Stand up for other people. There were only Jewish people sitting in the back 2 rows. Stand up.
So everyone's getting off because they want to kick that lady off. The people are fighting back.
Everything because a 1-year-old didn't have a mask.
Yeah. Okay, that one's covered. Okay. All right. We have here. We have more news before he gets on. Trump gives reaction to Biden's press conference. Oh, here we go.
The renovation was we knocked down the old wall and we built a new wall, and then they call it a renovation. But this was new wall and incredible wall. Had the border the most secure, they say, in 20 years.
Request for access to these facilities. And as you heard, he has no idea when access will be granted.
And they want to give access to one of Trump's nice facilities.
No, it wouldn't. And we had the border the most secure, they say, in 20 years. But really, I think from the beginning, it's never been like this. We built almost 500 miles of wall. And it was new wall. You know, they like to say renovation. The renovation was we knocked down the old wall and we built a new wall, and then they call it a renovation. But this was new wall and incredible wall that was, you know, really did a job. In addition to that, Mexico worked great with us. We had a tremendous relationship, and me with the president, who's a tremendous person. And they gave us 28,000 soldiers along our border. And they stop people from coming in. And what you're doing now and what you're seeing now is inhumane. These children and people are tremendous number of children, by the way, but they're living on top of each other in squalor. This is squalor. That's why they won't allow the press to come in. We let the press go in, and we had much smaller numbers, frankly, because people couldn't come up. But we let the press come in, but they're living in very dangerous conditions. There's no testing for COVID-19, as we call it sometimes. Sometimes we call it something else. But there's no testing, there's no nothing, and what's going on is just absolutely insane. It's a horrible situation. And everyone that's seen it, nobody's seen worse. Nobody's seen anything like it. And if you get cameras inside some of those facilities, you would see children on top of children, and you'd see filth, and you'd see things that you would not believe possible.
Well, I want to move on to a claim that Biden made about your administration's treatment of the migrant children. Watch.
If an unaccompanied child ends up at the border, we're just going to let them starve to death and stay on the other side. No previous administration did that either, except Trump.
He makes stuff
I'm not going to do it.
going on. He makes
He
stuff.
was accusing you of starving people who were wanting to come across the Rio Grande or the border to the United States. Your reaction?
Well, first of all, it's just the opposite. But by the time we finished what we were doing, very few people were coming up because they knew they weren't going to get through. We stopped catch and release, which was a disaster. That's where you catch somebody, take their name, and release them into our country. We stopped that. They were supposed to come back years later and go to court, but nobody ever comes back and goes to court. And the very biggest thing was we had the stay in Mexico policy. And that means that we wouldn't allow people to wait in our country until they were totally checked out, which most of them didn't get checked out, and they would go back to their own country. If young kids were with parents, but a lot of times they weren't, and we would take care of them. But it is what they're doing now is outrageous, and they should finish the wall. If they finish the wall, they'd be able to have a lot of people are right now staying in the few openings. We have openings in the wall that were going to be closed up, could have been done over the next month. If it weren't for the fact that we got sued 11 times, many of the suits by Congress and people in Congress and Democrats, we would have had the wall. It was almost completed, but it took 2.5 years to get the final sign-offs from the court victories that we had. We had great court victories, but they sued us for 2.5 years. And they were suing us on the financing, on the environment, on lots of things. We won the lawsuits, and we built almost 500 miles. They should immediately seal it up and finish it up, and you would see a lot of good things happen. But nobody knows exactly what they're doing.
Mr. President, what was your just general reaction to the way Biden handled the so-called press conference today? You know, he read quite a bit from reference notes, but he did take some questions. It was unusual, to say the least.
Well, they were strange questions, and they were asked in a very interesting way. It was like softballs, like you're throwing softballs up, and it's just a different world. Nobody's seen anything like it. You know it. You know it better than anybody. You cover it so well, and it's very sad to watch. Actually, they're feeding him questions. They're easy questions. I noticed Peter Doocy didn't get to ask a question today, and there could be no difficult questions. And they're ready to rip the microphone away if somebody did get a little bit testy.
Okay, so let me finish with this. Okay, we have our guest is already here. We have Jeremy Leggett for Congress, but I have to finish up the news. So let me finish it up, and then we'll go into this, okay? And here we go. From my Twitter, Ink Social is down again for the third day. I don't know what they're doing there, but I'm not into tech, so really I can't help them. So here we go. We have Stephen Miller, my favorite Jewish patriot. He's the top. This is the guy that they spit in his food and do all kinds of stuff to him in DC. They tried to take him out. POTUS replied with a monstrous lie to the question from Cecilia Vega on unaccompanied minor. Vega pointed out families abroad were separating their own children due to Biden's supremely reckless pledge to resettle in the U.S. any minor illegally crossing the border. Biden replied with an asinine false choice. He explained that he was resettling minors. Yes, you saw the video of the 7 buses full of illegal children being brought into the Dallas area, and they'll disappear because now they don't even have to show up in court. The minors, in lieu of letting them starve to death, to stay along on the other side of Mexico, which accused Trump of doing. This is spectacularly false. And first off, crossers returned to Mexico are transferred to migration authorities, not the desert. But unaccompanied minors were returned to their home countries to be reunited with their own families. They were not returned to Mexico unless Mexico was their home. This humane policy from President Trump brought unaccompanied minor numbers to record lows. There we go. Biden just lies. They just lie about everything. Just like, Jeremy, if you ever watch the debate between Andrew Gillum, whom at one of his rallies I was attacked for asking a question, of course, but shoved by some lady, of course, really radical and blonde, of course. Basically, they just pull information out of thin air. They make up numbers, they lie about a whole bunch of stuff, and they just have no problem with lying and making things up. Okay, here we have, if we're back, I think we're back here. We have this ship, the Evergreen, as you know, that's Hillary's name. Evergreen, stuck in the Suez Canal. What is the ship full of? Let's take a look. It might be full of, that's HRC, HRC. See it? It's stuck in the canal. It's full of nuclear devices, most probably, and children. What's going on there at the Suez Canal? Okay, and let me give you some information of the 3 big agencies that we're trying to fight right now that are kind of in charge. That would be the MI6 of England, that would be CIA, and that would be, of course, the CIA does the weather warfare with the Dorian and all kinds of stuff. And last but not least, Mossad, okay? And the 2 tugboats trying to get this ship out of Suez Canal are called Mossad. Interesting. So we have all of these 3 agencies working together. If you didn't know, a lot of our phone calls are routed to Israel, to the Mossad, the Israeli CIA, before they get here. You hear a few seconds of a pause, that would be them. Okay, so all of these places are where the CIA and Mossad and MI6 used to go. Haiti closed, North Korea closed, China closed, Russia closed, and Cuba closed. Pending opening, Sudan, Syria, Yemen, all the radical, and since the boat is stuck, it affects all these countries. Libya, okay, and as you know, Libya is a place where they were fine until until the deep state or shadow government wanted them to use their money, and so then the war started. So whenever you have your own currency and the Federal Reserve is not printing it for you, which is it's conservative, it's a radical leftist people that own the Federal Reserve, basically the Rothschilds is a private company, then you have a war. That's what's going on there. And that's what's happening with you. You guys told me you wanted me to cover the ship that was Evergreen, okay? And yeah. Okay, so we're all done with the news. Here we go. We have Mr. Jeremy Levitt here. Here we go. Sorry about that. I always have to cover the news, and here we go. And you can, of course, you're welcome to trim that off when you do your thing. Good morning. I'm sorry to wake you up, Jeremy.
Good morning. Good morning, Patriots. Yeah, it's a great morning here in Florida.
Yes, always a good morning in Florida.
We're still a free state with our amazing governor fighting hard for us.
Yeah, he's an amazing governor. We fought so hard to get him in. I had to expose all the corruption of Andrew Gillum, who was funded by George Soros in the hundreds of millions of dollars, who's completely exposed that he likes male prostitutes and drugs. And yeah, And his brother took funds from the undercover FBI, which I've always said the FBI does the cleanup for the CIA. So half of them corrupt. So yeah, he never got even, Marcus Gillum never even got in any trouble for doing that. Okay. And the crime went up in Tallahassee 52%. When I asked that question, I was shoved at his rally. And also we have basically the taxes went sky high in Tallahassee. So yeah, we know who did what. Okay. All right. So tell us a little bit about your county and about yourself. And then I'm going to get into the person that you're running against, who's been there for a while and is funded by Nancy Pelosi. There you go.
So I'm a U.S. congressional candidate for District 7. District 7 encompasses Seminole County and small portions of Orlando here in Florida. Now, the district is going to be redistricted. So we're waiting for that to come out. I'm super excited about that. We have a lot of conservative patriots in District 7. And it's unfortunate that District 7 has been represented by a socialist for so many years in Congress in Washington, D.C. I'm a grassroots constitutional conservative candidate. I started at a very young age in the United States Army. Once I got out of the military, I got into law enforcement in the metro Atlanta area. I policed for many years, came back here to Florida, okay, because this is where my parents live, moved back here. We had some family stuff going on, and I opened my own business. So I opened a small business here in Central Florida. It was, it's a gun training business. We teach defensive tactical combat pistol and rifle applications. So self-defense with handguns, rifles, things like that. What got me into politics is the cancel culture. As soon as I opened my business, I started to get hit by the left. You know, they're very anti-Constitution, very anti-Second Amendment, and they really hit me in the pockets, just like they are with most Americans right now when it comes to the Second Amendment. PayPal took away my PayPal account, took money I had in it, and held it for 3 months. I can go on and on and on. Facebook kicked me off, Google, and it angered me. And I got into grassroots conservative things, and it just went from there. And here I am now. I'm getting off the couch, and I'm running for Congress. I want to go to Washington, D.C. and represent District 7 as a conservative fighter. And I believe that we need less politicians and more patriots in office. And that's what I'm here for. And that's what we're going to do 2022.
Yeah, and you run on two things. You have a very interesting tattoo on one of your arms. Can you show that to the audience? That's how much you love our country. So we the people. There we go.
We the people there, obviously, and then 1776 underneath here. And tattoos are the way that I've been expressing myself over the last few years. We're all fed up and we're all angry. We're fed up and we're angry with the socialist, Marxist, communist left. And we're tired of them attempting to fracture our Constitution and our country. And the American people are starting to stand up. And I'm part of that movement that is standing up and saying, listen, we're not going to take it anymore.
Yeah, I'm going to be speaking for Jeremy coming up in next month in April, somewhere, I guess, between his county or in Orlando, which I just came back from. That was CPAC was a zoo. Oh my gosh, that was a little crazy.
That was the first time I've ever been to CPAC, and I was actually super excited about going. I want to be quite frank. I spent the majority of my time out with the flag wavers.
Yeah.
And what an amazing group of patriots out there supporting President Trump in our country. It's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, inside the hotel, they're making sure you have a check for your temperature every day. They're also making sure that you are in a certain area and you can't really move. So when they took my friends, the Blacks for Trump, they tried to kick him out. I had to stand up and deal with that. It was a nightmare. But yeah, the security was incredibly high. I don't know what was going on, but really, yeah. Yeah. But yes, we have a lot to do. So everyone, I have I'm gonna have his picture on my thumbnail when you see this video, and of course his link on the description. And you can donate there and really help him out. Okay, I'm going to get into your opponent, who's been there, I guess, for a period of time, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. She's been there for a period of time. In my opinion, what she did is she pulled the wool, I guess is the best way to say it, over the voters in District 7's eyes. She really has.
Yeah, she is Vietnamese. She's from Vietnam. Very poor, war-ridden country, I'm sad to say. And I'm from Singapore, which is in the same region, Southeast Asia, from a very wealthy country. Our real estate's between $4,000 to $12,000 a square foot. And my dad was chairman of Singapore Stock Exchange. So let me get into this woman. I think she's been there for has she been there for about 3 cycles?
Yeah, I believe that's correct. Yeah, 3 cycles.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into her, and we'll go into this a little bit where we share a few articles. And yeah, since I'm Asian and she's Asian, she actually, I don't believe that I think she's a real radical. I mean, I've watched her. She really believes what she's saying. And I mean, that's she's not even acting at this point. She really believes what she's saying. Top Democrat pushes open borders, leaves town hall after being challenged by legal immigrant group. I'm a legal immigrant like she is. And yeah, moderate Democrat. She's supposed to be a moderate, underwater after impeachment vote. Yeah, we have all these legal immigrants challenging her, and she just left. Oh, here we go. Here's a video. Anti-American.
To decide who they vote for, whether it be at the legislative level, presidential level, senator. And what is your position on issues such as sanctuary cities, such as E-Verify, and such as open borders?
We need to make sure that we have a pathway to bring people who are currently in the shadows out of the shadows, because it's not the
DACA, you mean? She means DACA.
Who live outside of the bounds of our communities. And no, let me finish. And so, but that set of policies is very difficult to complete at a time when rhetoric and misinformation and polarization and sort of bickering is the public stage when it comes to discussions about immigration policy. When you operate from a place of misinformation, it is next to impossible to get to reasonable regulation. So that's where I am on comprehensive immigration.
Why can I walk across the border with no fence?
It just leaves. Okay. There you go. And we have more. We have the fact that her husband, Mr. Murphy, basically is linked to China. Here we go. When did Stephanie Murphy's husband last visit China? Yeah, the Winter Park Congresswoman's husband owns a sportwear company that produces 97% of their products in China. Yep. And yeah, it's Sean Murphy runs 3 and 2, has benefited from his wife's help in the design and patenting of one confirmed product, and is suspended suspended. It's suspected that she has serious involvement in her husband's business dealings. Stephanie, you're from Vietnam. Don't you know that the quality is better when you make the clothes in your birthplace than in China? And what else? She's also involved in the gun grab, and Murphy pushes gun registration. Here we go. And she wants the tariffs taken off of China, of course, so they can make more money. There we go. So here we go. We have this. So yeah, I can't be called a racist because we're both Asian, and misogynist because I'm also female. So I don't know what they have. Okay. So, but I'm going to expose her. Murphy exposes gun restriction, open borders during district visit. Congressman, well, that's a really nice picture of her, actually. She doesn't look anything like a picture. Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy gushed about her. Stephanie gushed about her in a district coffee meetup leading to the past weekend, only to restrict recording of any kind and reveal her radical roots on two hot button issues. Yes, and she held a swanky fundraiser during Hurricane Irma. Of course, you know, all the hurricanes are the work of NASA and the CIA and the Department of Defense, I'm sorry to say. And that's the truth. Murphy lied to law enforcement about being a security risk to lock down her events from the public. Oh, so the public couldn't attend. And Murphy has been billed as the leading moderate, even earned a top billed Politico cover story heralding her as Velvet Hammer approach. No, she is just the media works for the CIA, so of course they're pushing her. So they want to do a gun grab, and of course we have Biden stating yesterday that he let it out of the cat out of the bag that all the dates are already pre-planned. I mean, that's why they want to take him out and put Kamala in, because he just talks too much and exposes too much of their agenda. So all of these 7 shooting events in 7 days, you know, CIA, the last one, of course, in the CIA district of the CIA West in Colorado, that would be the Denver airport. It wasn't a big hike to get over to Boulder, Colorado, and that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to, she's trying to do the gun grab for the Democratic Party. 95% of your money comes from state health insurance companies and your in-laws' bank account. Gathering 200 plus is impossible for you. Unseating you in 2020. Armani Saludo.
Yeah, the majority of our donors come from out-of-state health insurance companies, and her mother and father-in-law own Full Sail University and dump a lot of money into her campaigns.
I'm sure they do, because it's profiting them, because all that agenda is helping her husband, their son, basically do a lot of business with China. The special counsel clearly stated a foreign adversary interfered with our elections. That's why we must secure our democracy. Right. It's not a democracy, everyone. It's a constitutional republic.
Yes.
Don't let them say that 5,000 times, because they're wrong. Mueller also made clear why Congress must conduct its own independent investigation to report findings on the possible obstruction. Okay, you know the reporter that that was in San Diego died of swine flu when she never went near a farm, and I think she worked for Fox News, exposing the fact that basically we have the two, Lisa Page, who doctors Dr. General Flynn's 302s, and Peter Strzok, as you know, the radical that brought in many of that Cozy Bear group for Hillary that is now linked to the allegedly, let's just say, allegedly, I have to use that word a lot, allegedly linked to the SolarWinds hack. Okay. This is what we do on the show, as much intel as we can. So basically, during the interview, I do try to give him more intel. Yeah. So basically, she's got a lot in donations. How much has she gotten? Like 3 million in donations?
So this last election cycle, it was approximately $3.5 million. And,
Wow.
over 90% of it was from out of state healthcare.
And a lot from Nancy Pelosi, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's in that inner circle with AOC, Pelosi. She tries to come across as a blue dog Democrat, and she's not. She's a far left socialist, obviously.
Right.
Just like her attack on the Second Amendment. And listen,
I mean, she's just a radical, but she's pretending like she's a middle of the road, but she's not.
yeah, and I don't see how any politician can stand up and support any kind of gun control at all and say that they care about the people in the district. I mean, those two things, they don't go together. We know that no law has ever prevented a crime.
Right.
We have a natural right, a natural birthright to defend ourselves. It's all of that. The Second Amendment, everything's written in the Constitution. And as you can clearly see, she's not America first. She's Stephanie first, and she's a socialist.
Yeah, she's basically a socialist because they take all those guns from the gun grab and they sell them south of the border, just like thug Eric Holder did, Fast and the Furious, and it killed over 66,000 Mexicans. So we know where the guns go, and mostly to the cartels because they purchase them. And that's what they do. They don't want Americans to be able to defend themselves when they come for you. That's what they're doing. Look at the state Australia and New Zealand are in, and England's in, because they have no guns to defend themselves. That is, the freedom call. I mean, I am Seventh-day Adventist, so we don't promote guns. We don't even carry guns. That's against my religion. But I promote the freedom of choice, and I promote people's right to defend themselves. And if that's what it takes to deter people from defending themselves, people from attacking you from defending yourself, then you should have a gun. And our governor here in Florida says, if you, basically need to defend yourself with a gun, please be our guest. Hello. Go for it. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, the laws in the state of Florida are very, very clear when it comes to defending yourself. And the state of Florida has done a very, very good job in incorporating self-defense in Florida law. That's a fact.
I mean, it's so sad about Georgia because Georgia has become so corrupt that many people have moved out. You've moved out of Georgia. Linwood has moved to South Carolina. I mean, so many big patriots are out of Georgia because they're so corrupt, okay? They're extremely, extremely corrupt. So, they move. They can't take it anymore because it's really bought up by China. And, that Governor Kemp was pretty much threatened with that. What happened to his daughter's boyfriend? You know who I'm talking about. It wasn't really a car crash. That big of an explosion was not a car crash. So really, they're going all out, and we need someone like you, Jeremy, to fight for us in the Congress, and we need to get rid of all the radical leftists in Florida. They're just blocking and blocking. In the end, they're going to be, they're not going to be able to do much because there's so many conservatives here, but basically, we need more conservatives so we can get all of that out. And now that we know that she's funded by her in-laws, that are very wealthy, and do they own a college or something?
Full Sail University.
Yes, they own a college. Okay. So yes, more indoctrination of the.
Yeah, we know the socialists, the Marxists, and the communists are using colleges and the school system. They've weaponized it,
right,
to indoctrinate youth.
Yeah. And so this is the first time you're running, correct?
Yes, this is the first time I'm running. I am definitely not a politician, as you can probably tell by by me being on here interviewing with you and
Right.
other patriots that are watching this. Definitely not a politician.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I know what they did to my girlfriend Carla Spalding. She was way ahead in the polls, way ahead, and then suddenly in the middle of the night, things changed when all those votes started coming in. So yeah, she's running again in Broward County, the most corrupt county in Florida. But I think in your county, Seminole County, you might have a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I have a very good chance, and I'm very excited about the 2022 election coming up. And there's two places that are super important for the 2022 congressional election here in Florida, and this is just my humble opinion. It's going to be District 10 and District 7. Super important. We've got to get Demings out of District 10. Okay, Demings complete socialist. All right. And then we've got to get Stephanie Murphy and the left out of District 7.
Who's running in District 10? Do you know?
That's going to be constitutional conservative is going to be Willie Montague.
Oh, is that the one whose little party I went to with Kimberly Classic? Is that the one?
Yes, that's Willie. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Willie, next time you hold a fundraiser, try not to hold it in the ghetto because I couldn't wait to leave. That's all I had to say. I was there for like 10 minutes and I left. And I rolled my eyes at Kimberly. I thought she arranged it, but it was him. He's the one that wanted it there. Okay. All right, Kimberly Classic, you're off the I was like, Carla and I got there late. So, I left after like 10 minutes. It wasn't even, it might have been 7 minutes we left. It was towards the end. But
I was there at the event. The event was amazing. We had a good time at the event that night.
The lighting was very bad. We could hardly see anyone. It had that speakeasy kind of vibe. It was like a speakeasy. It was a pretty building, but it was in the ghetto. And so, I was like, oh, anyway. So,
Willie puts a lot of the money that comes in through his campaigns and stuff. He's really, really good about putting it back into the community.
Okay.
That's a really important thing with Willie. He has a long history of community activism, and not just activism, but supporting the community and putting back into the community. And I think that was a top priority for him as he's doing things with his campaign money and things like that throughout the elections, putting money back into the community is what.
Hopefully he's getting a lot of donations. Hopefully.
Yeah, we're doing good for grassroots constitutional conservative candidates. When I first started running, when I first announced instead I was going to run, I had the naysayers come to me and say, oh, it's going to be super hard for you to get money because you're not going to get big donors and you're not going to get. And listen, we don't need that. That's the problem right now with politicians that we're sending to Washington, D.C. They don't have a backbone. They get to Washington, D.C. and they give in to the people over at Silicon Valley and stuff like that. They accept the money and they don't speak for the people, and we need to get away from that. And
I mean, you've got an uphill battle. She's got $3 million. How many votes can she buy? I mean, it's really a little crazy there.
Well, interestingly enough, when I was doing the research through my campaign with a lot of the stuff a lot of our donations and things that were coming in, the other night I was looking at things, and I think last election, and this is an approximate because I was getting this from another source online, but she only received $85,000 from donations from people, in District 7. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, but isn't it illegal to accept donations from out of the state?
No, not for it's a federal campaign. So she's, I have donors, individual donors, not corporate, not medical corporations or anything like that. But, I have donors from out of state, individual donors
Okay.
that send me donations. When you start talking about Congress, I mean, you're talking about an individual that's going to Washington, D.C. that's not just representing the district, but their votes and what they believe in and stuff represents people across the United States.
Right. I mean, good. I'm glad that it's legal to do that. But wow, $3 million is a lot. I don't know. Did she spend it all, or what happened?
That I can't answer.
But she's
I'm sure she's like Nancy Pelosi and started a war chest. Nancy Pelosi has a war chest, and
Yeah.
she uses that. She reaches in that war chest and uses it when she needs to use it. And one of the big things I really think that we need to look into is term limits.
Right.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous that we have people that have clearly made millions and millions of dollars, by being a politician in Washington, D.C. I think it's absolutely crazy when you think of it.
Mitch McConnell. There you go. That's
and then
all
they're
I have.
sending a lot of our money over, to foreign countries and things like that, when we have so many things here in the United States that, we need to focus on.
They send money out of the United States, not because they care, it's because they're getting a 20% kickback. Everyone knows that. They get 20% back, okay? Number one. Number two, don't let the Democrats fool you. They don't care about the illegals, okay? They're bringing them here to create chaos for us. So we'll be too busy dealing with them to really put up anything against, the Democratic Party. And also, they're not into the environment. I already told you this, what happened in Florida. We had, as you know, if you've been here for the last couple of years, we had a really bad, especially here on the Gulf Coast, we had a really bad red tide, really bad. I mean, all the huge turtles were dying, huge whales, huge giant sharks, all the fish died off. Our governor had to dump fish into the ocean after they cleared it out from the red tide, because it was former Senator, Democratic Senator Bill Nelson, that was there for a very long time, was unseated by our former governor, Mr. You know who I'm talking about, right?
It's sad that any political horror story that we hear, it's very, very sad that it starts out with Democratic.
Yeah.
But that's
it's this play on words. Yeah, everything they do is a play on words. Liberal, they're not liberal.
Well, they're socialist. They're complete socialist.
Yeah, I mean, it's anyway, for our former governor Rick took his place. Hallelujah. But what happened was they're not into the environment. So every election they would do this red tide thing. And the last election, they did it so badly because they dumped all the waste from the marijuana production into Lake Okeechobee, which caused the red tide. And we got it really bad here on the Gulf Coast, and everything died off. And that was compliments of Senator, I guess he was a senator, Senator Bill Nelson, who's like been there forever. And we're not just talking about the Democrats. We need to talk about the rhinos. There's so many of them crawling out of the woodwork. They're so bad. We have, Mitch McConnell at the top of the list. Of course, Lisa Murkowski, what's her name? Liz Cheney, whose parents, the Cheneys, got trillions, not billions, trillions of dollars from Justice Roberts from Building 7 of 9/11, of course, allegedly. Got to say that. And, of course, we have... Susan Collins of Maine, all the usual suspects, Mitch McConnell, all rhinos, all anti-Trumpers, all rhinos. And they vote for the Democratic causes, which really is to sink the United States. And being a legal immigrant, I'm the opposite of this woman, Stephanie Murphy. I don't know what her real name, her Vietnamese name is. I believe that, as a legal immigrant, I didn't sign up to live in an illegal hellhole. Okay. So that is what I'm against. And them flooding the border and is very concerning. And Biden saying he didn't know anything about it, but he had already given 84 to 86 million dollars to Texas to house the illegals. So how did he not know anything about it when he gave them the money in advance? I mean, there's so many of them coming up. There's 53 million from South America trying to get into the United States.
Yeah, and the Biden administration created this crisis that we have at the border.
Correct.
They really did. And in my humble opinion, what we need to do is we need to shut the border down and secure it immediately. And we need to send the caravans back, and we need to implement the policies that the Trump administration had put into place that kept America first and protected the American people.
Yep. Basically, we need to finish the wall, which they stopped building. They're probably trying to take it down as we speak. And as everyone's aware that I mentioned, Biden is a huge dementia victim. So he's about to be replaced by Kamala. So now they can't even call it the Biden administration. They would call it the Biden-Harris administration. So really,
that when he fell up the steps, typically people fall. I guess it's easy to fall up steps. When he fell up the steps, I was pretty concerned. Did you see
He fell 3 times, not once, but like 3 times. Okay.
Yeah, we'll call it a roll.
Yeah. I mean,
you can't make this stuff up. You really.
I mean, okay. So, like I said before, if the CIA was in control and not China, the CCP, I'm Chinese, so I can say that all day long. The CCP, they would have picked their CIA operative of over a decade. That would be Pete Buttigieg, just like they allegedly picked their alleged operative, Barack Obama, and his wife, Mike, allegedly, that basically fired all the generals. So yes, we're very aware on this channel of all the freaky stuff that goes along with the CIA, the clowns in America, but China's really involved in that pick. So that was a really bad pick. I mean, he is pretty much gone. He has a cheat map in his hand to say which question to answer from which reporter, softball question, and the number of the reporter in his hand so he can call them out. I mean, how far gone is this guy? I mean, it's like really, it's like a joke almost. It's really ridiculous. But I'm really concerned about the border because they are shipping the children 7 buses full into Dallas right now. So they're going to inundate Texas, which is, as you know, they're trying to clean up DC. And I doubt, this is what Mr. Lindell has to say. He thinks our rail POTUS will be back in August. Oh, Lord, please make him come back before August. I mean, it's like, no, we can't take this till August. The stock market's crashing. They're trying to do the global. It's really crazy what they're doing.
I know I'm feeling gas prices right now. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. And the food. Have you seen that? You've got a baby now. You have your food to worry about, right?
Yeah. Food. Yeah. Gas, food. I mean, Americans right now are very, very concerned. And then, talking to a lot of people in District 7, the other concern is retirements and things like that,
right.
Investments that are going to be affected and these people's life savings.
Right. There's
a lot of concern going on right now in the United States and in District 7 with all of this stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even rehearse anything about District 7. I didn't even know what was going on there because I assumed everything was fine because you're close to Orlando, but it's a whole different I think, economy in District 7 than it is in Orlando.
Yeah, it's a completely different economy in District 7 than it is in District 10 in Orlando. And the people are a lot different as well. District 7 reminds me of if you took Lake County, Florida, which is more central, and then you mixed Orlando into Lake County and balled it up, that would almost explain Seminole and District 7 in that area.
Oh.
And,
It's kind of like Bradenton, our Bradenton, which is north of us, Bradenton County. It's kind of, down to earth, more hardworking people, retirees. Yeah.
And that's District 7, 100%.
Yeah.
And they deserve better than Stephanie Murphy. They really do.
Basically, yeah, it's they always seem to be able to find the most radical leftists. And if they can find one that is of color, that's a whole different scenario. Believe you me, I'm Floridian now, and I plan to do my best to expose. And I'm an exposer. I like to expose a lot of people so they know that what they're voting for. I wouldn't say I'm gonna, do this and do that, but I like to expose. And if there's dirt, I like to expose that too. And she seems to have a lot of dirt with the, in-laws and all kinds of stuff.
Well, I know if you look at her history in Congress with what she supported in her policies and things like that, I think it says enough.
Right.
I really do.
So, yeah, if you want to donate to Jeremy, please look in the description. It's going to be right there on the top. And I'm planning to go over to his county, which is right smack next to Orlando, at the end of April for an event. And I asked Scott if he'd do, because he's coming back from some other thing in Tulsa. I don't even know why he's going to that. But,
very busy patriot.
Some people, and you're a very good Christian. You're a Christian too. You're a God-fearing Christian.
100%, 100%.
No, there you go. No, there you go. I'm second generation Seventh-day Adventist, like Dr. Ben Carson. So yes, I know my Bible. It's interesting that some people, I'll just say maybe one in particular, are featured speaking at that event in Tulsa. And I did an interview with that guy, Clay Clark, and they probably cannot recite one verse from the Bible, and they're speaking at a so-called Bible event. Can we say that there are a lot of pretentious opportunists in this party? That's all I have to say. I've been doing this for a while, and now I'm independent, so I'm trying to get away from that because there's so many rhinos. It's unbelievable. So yeah, I think that what you see is what you get with you. I think you're going to work hard for the people. I think that it's good that you're young so you can stay there for, a while, like what she is. You're younger than her, I think. You're in your 30s, right? She's in her 40s.
Yeah,
she's in her 40s or more, whatever she is. I know how old.
You know what? Honestly, I haven't even looked at her age. I got to the point of her policies and was so sick.
No one even heard of her, but she must be pretty bad if she had a whole article written about her from the Gateway Pundit.
She's got a lot of articles written about her in her socialist views and things like that.
I bet she voted yes in the impeachment. I bet you she did.
Oh, she 100% did.
Yeah.
She's an elitist and a socialist, and she's supported by elitists and socialists and communists, and she's in Nancy Pelosi's back pocket, and she's up there with AOC, and they're all dancing around and stomping all over our Constitution and the American people. That's what they do.
AOC, there's a lot of campaign fraud going on there. It's like, I mean, AOC is not saying anything about the border this time and the children in the little cocoons, silver cocoons.
She
She's
has
not
been
doing-
pretty quiet, hasn't she?
Oh, she's been real quiet. She hasn't said a word because they are owned by the same people. That would be the shadow government. So, it's, yeah, that's what they do. Hopefully, you have a long period of time. You have, well, maybe not that long because we'll be halfway through this year. So you have a year and maybe a half to get it ready for next November, correct?
Yeah, yeah, and I did start just a little bit early, in order to help facilitate the donations and things like that. Because remember, my campaign's a grassroots campaign. I'm not going to take money from large corporate donors and things like that. Because when I get to DC, I want to be the voice of the people. Not, I don't want to be the voice of Advent Health. Okay,
Right.
I want to be able to focus on the people, which is the reason why I want to go to DC in the first place, is to change all this. And once you start getting money from those types of people and things like that, they control you. And I'm not going to be controlled. I want to be District 7's conservative warrior in Washington, D.C. And
Right.
I'm going to give them all out hell. I really am.
I
I
have
really feel bad for the socialists.
I have to say to my church, the Seventh-day Adventist Church, you shouldn't have slapped your name on the Adventist Health all through Florida because it's not really got the best reputation now. And our church was founded on health principles, and you're slapping your name on Adventist Health, Adventist Health. I mean, that wasn't started by an Adventist. They just slapped your name on it. And I hope you're getting huge royalties because you're really making our church not look great. So that's all I have to say. We're Seventh-day Adventist, and it's not great. Okay, I even graduated from Loma Linda, huh?
It could be worse. Look at what a lot of the stuff that's coming out of the Catholic Church right now. Well, and a lot of the other religions. So
yeah, the Catholic. I mean, really, there's so many Christian churches. I think there's like, is that 39,000? It's a little crazy out there.
It's a large number.
Yeah, a lot of them.
The bottom line though is God and community.
Right.
Okay? And I really cannot understand for the life of me how you can support a socialist communist movement, okay, and preach Christianity at the same time. I really don't. I don't see how you could do it. It's beyond me.
They're not Christians. A lot of people say they're Christians, but you don't need to say you're a Christian. People can see it in you if you are or not. You don't have to say it, I'm a Christian, whatever. I'm just not the typical Christian because I'm not going to, take it when you attack me. I'm just going to give you back the same garbage that you give me, just like Donald Trump, twice as hard. So really, there's some of us that are not doormats, and that doesn't mean you're not Christian, that you're not a doormat. That means you're standing up for yourself, and that's it. There are a lot of good Christians out there that are not going to take it. So
I agree with that, and I see it. There's a lot of churches that I am involved with, and 100%. They support God and the Constitution, and they're out there and they're fighting against socialism and things like abortion and things like that every single day. They're amazing people in an amazing fight.
I mean, it's like I take my hat off to you because I know from my girlfriend how hard she worked, how many shows she had to do. They were destroying her signs. They were, her truck got destroyed. She bought a new SUV with the stuff, her stuff all around it. It was such hard work, and she really won, and they took that away from her too. So I just, for me, I just applaud you because I know it's not an easy job, and it's an uphill climb. So yeah, I wish you the best, and I'm looking forward to coming to speak for you at the end of next month. So, you know, when we
We're
figure out
looking forward to having you in District 7 as well. We're looking forward to
definitely,
having you in District
yeah. Definitely, it was meant to be, because what are the chances that your opponent is a legal immigrant from Asia and I am also? What are the chances? And the lady, give a shout out. It's Peggy, right? It's Peggy. I know it's Peggy. The lady that found me at CPAC, she's like, I know you, and I was talking to you know, Roger Stone at the time, and I'm like, okay. And so she's like, would you come do an event for this guy? And I didn't know who you were, obviously. And so, you know, she's like, da da da. And then I just talked to you for the first time yesterday, and it all like lined up for you, because, you know, you don't have to really say anything. They can't really go after you because I'm the one that's going to expose it. So I'm Asian, I'm female, and I am going to expose her. And so really, you don't have to do anything, because it's coming from someone that she is like, the same, you know, roots, basically. Well, I'm from a country that has no illegals and no crime. So, you know, if you drop a piece of paper on the ground or you have chewing gum, that'll be a $500 fine. And if you graffiti a bunch of cars, you get a government imposed national caning from a martial arts expert. So,
Wow.
yeah, there we go. And if you try to bomb any of the buildings, any of the embassies, which they've caught a bunch of people trying to do, because they're all in the row, that would be the Chinese embassy next to the Australian High Commission, next to the British High Commission, next to the American embassy, which are huge buildings. They caught them, and they came in from Indonesia, and they didn't give them a trial. They just took them out. That's where I come from. It's called law and order. And the people are happy because there's no crime. All they're doing is because they're spoiled, and the government spoils them. And basically, the government, we have a CPF, which is kind of like Social Security. But you know, the government, if you hire a Singaporean, the government pays you. You have to pay 25% more for that person. The government subsidizes that, and then you can use that money to buy yourself a government apartment, which is still not cheap. A 3-bedroom government apartment, which is brand new. They're all clean and new. Is about $800,000. So yeah, it's a very expensive country. The food is very reasonable and the best food in the world, like Anthony Bourdain says, but it's a very expensive place to live because, yeah, it is just expensive. It's not like Vietnam. Vietnam I've been to is very beautiful, and you can go there and get tailor-made clothes for, you know, pennies on the dollar, well made. So if she really cared about where she came from, she wouldn't be manufacturing her stuff in China. She'd be doing it in Vietnam. That's where she's from. I mean, if I was doing that, I would manufacture it in Singapore, where I'm from. Why you manufacture it in China? Because I think her in-laws control her, basically. They're leftists, and they control her, you know, through her husband and through all the funds that she's getting. So she really doesn't really care for her people. And she got up when she's talking to a bunch of legal immigrants that had a bunch of facts, asking her about, you know, E-Verify and stuff like that. I was really into E-Verify for a very long time. And so, you know, it's very damning when you don't even respect, you know, people, that you just walk out. And they're also legal immigrants. It's very, you know, we're doing a lot of work, the conservative legal immigrants, because we came here for better life. Okay. Everyone says, why don't you live in your country? You've got no crime. It's super clean. You can eat off the sidewalk. You have great food and everything. Okay. I'll tell you the truth. I get bored when I'm there. Okay. Number one. Number two, I like to live in a place where I have land. And I had 2 beautiful Dobermans that passed from the getting the rabies vaccine. I basically, you know, need to have land. I like to live in a house. You know, if you live in a condo, you know, it's $2 million. So, I mean, it's like, what can you get here for $2 million? A lot. Okay.
A whole lot. You can get a whole lot here for $2 million.
Yeah. And my father was chairman of Singapore Stock Exchange, CDL hotel chain, lives there. My mom
Apparently, for $3.5 million, you can get a congressional seat in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, if you're the son of the whatever you want to call Biden, I can't really say the P word for him because it won't come out of my mouth. Apparently, you can get $3.5 billion from China through Ukraine and China, because China, as I mentioned, owns Ukraine. Ukraine, where Americans have dumped a lot of funds through many people. That would be Ambassador Rice through Eric CIA. You can't say his name, the fake whistleblower. It was really Alexei Vindman and his twin brother. There we go. And basically created the Ukrainian Holocaust, where they hired snipers and a lot of people went down, and so America had to donate more money. So Ukraine is known for three things. Number one, it's known for the oil and gas, and number two, it's known for plane manufacturing, and number three, it's known for Intel. Guess who owns all of those companies? That would be China. And I can say China all day long, 因为我讲国语，我是华人，我可以讲，没有关系. So I do speak Chinese, and I have exposed that China has about 2 million CCP operatives all through the world, and they're lodged in 3 American companies. That would be Pfizer, Boeing, and HP. So if you're buying those products, you're supporting the CCP. All right, that's all I have to say. And yeah, everything lined up for you, Guy, because I'm Asian. Our show was not planned today. I had someone else on. We switched it so we could get you on, and all the stars are aligning. So it's good. I mean, I think I'm the perfect person to speak for you because of who your opponent is. So they can't use the racist thing against you. They can't use this misogynist thing against you, the fascist thing, because I will do the exposing, and you can just agree or disagree with me. It fell into your lap, basically. You should really thank Peggy, because she is a very staunch supporter of you, and she's gone out of her way, and she's Hispanic, and she's great. So thank you, Peggy.
We absolutely love Peggy.
She's going by what is she going by here? She's going by some other name. What are you going by? Miss something. I can't remember, but I'm a little discombobulated, everyone, this morning. As you know, this is a very relaxed show. I'm not, like Fox. I don't have everything pre-planned. I have to adjust my blouse sometimes or dress.
It's a good thing you're not like Fox at this point.
Yeah. This is a very casual show. We are not organized. And I've had a lot of problems with the Sarasota County, what can I say? Building commission. And them giving me a red tag, me paying for it, me getting multiple surveys, and it's still going on. It's nonstop. And I call them and they don't call me back. I'm about to expose them very soon because I'm getting really tired. And you know who I'm talking about, Mr. Pollock and Mr. Leverage. Okay. I have all your emails, and you know how I love to expose people. That's what I live for. I'm not so much a journalist as an exposer, and I'm about to expose Sarasota County. So please, I have a carport that I had to move one pillar off of my carport, move it back 2 feet. I had to get multiple surveys. It's nonstop, and my carport does not have electricity. It's just a bunch of pillars with a carport, yes, and basically no windows. So why are you making it cost like $10,000? It's really crazy. And
if
I'm going to have to
was an illegal immigrant, they would just let it in.
They used to, but now they've gotten real. This is a money-making thing. So if I was going to keep the pillar where it was, I would have to get a variance, which means that I would have to put an ad in the paper and spend $600 to $1,000, which I refuse to do. And still, I might not get the variance. So I decided to move the pillar back. It was actually 1 foot 2 inches, but we moved it back 2 feet just to be safe. We had to get we got a survey. We had to get a second survey for the drainage. It's really, really crazy what they do. And they have all the power, and they're doing it to everyone. So really, I love living in Sarasota. We have a lot of great people that live here. We have Judge Judy that lives here. We have Jerry Springer that lives here. They could live anywhere, but they love Sarasota because it's amazing. And again, we were written up. Not one single death for a very long period of time, over a month. Not one death, okay? And mostly conservative. 3 times the amount of conservatives because I get involved in early voting and whatever else. And it's great. You can put your Trump sign out, but that Trump sign really got me this permits problem. So have a reality check. But Jeremy, you've got me in your corner now. I'm going to do all I can for you. And yeah, everything just lined for you. So yeah, Kimberly Classic is so busy doing everyone's event, and you could have had her, but I think I might be a better fit for the job.
Well, thank you, and thanks for all the thank you to all the patriots that are watching today. And if you're in District 7, please 2022 get out, vote Liggett for Congress, and I really appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and we will do another show when we figure out where we're going to have the event and, things so closer to the thing, and then you can just get tickets or whatever. And I will be speaking there. I could do it more than once. It's fine. That's all I do all day anyway. So, and I'm very loud. I don't even need a microphone, as you can tell. And so, life goes on. All right. So yeah, definitely go on to the description and please support him. And help, he's not taking any donations from any, corporations. So he needs all the help he can get, especially when the opponent is taking millions and millions of dollars in. So it's going to be an uphill battle, but God willing, he will win. Yeah, he will win. And we'll take back Florida. And you'll see, without all the leftists, how well Florida will be doing. Thank God for, Governor DeSantis. And Thank God we got Gillum out. Over $100 million spent by the George Soros Open Society, and he lost because we conservatives are very good at digging all the dirt. That's what we do. We don't need any weapons. We're just very good at digging. We're diggers. Yeah. All right. So, okay. Thank you very much. You had over 12,000 views, but I'm sure it's much more. And 1,200 views, sorry. I'm sure it's much more. And we'll take a look at the numbers in a little bit. And thank you for coming, for you on Periscope and Facebook. And you might have to edit the beginning part on the news to use this if you want. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless President Trump.
God bless President Trump, who will be returning soon, I hope. Sooner than August. Okay. All right. Okay. Bye.